People are like, why don't you believe the official story? I don't know, because I'm not an idiot. Respectfully, where you been at, Nancy Drew? Because they've been lying to us since before we were even born, dog. Which part of the story do you find to be credible? It's like, oh, Poopstein definitely poops himself, and then the cameras, they didn't work, and I've never even heard about that. But actually, they did work, and here they are, and it shows you absolutely nothing, and the time is missing. And it's like, what was the point where you really were convinced? It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe when you told me that a paper passport flew out of a passenger jet and landed on the ground in perfect form and got picked up and given to a person of authority in like an hour. And then the most comprehensive security apparatus to protect the most important person in the history of modern time, just some guy just climbed on the nearest, most obvious roof and nobody noticed it, and one person got fired, and we're just like, okay, it was some nerd. And now it's like, don't worry, guys, nothing to see here. He showed up in a maroon shirt with shorts on, but then he changed to all black clothing to hide on a white roof, and he just climbed up there with nobody noticing or nobody caring, but civilians noticed it, and there's videos of it, but who cares about that? And he had it in his pant leg, which justifies the way that he was walking that way, but when you show the grainy pictures that look like they were taken in 1983, well, those pictures show some grainy thing that actually show both legs being bent, but that's totally fine, because he built it on the roof, because that doesn't take a long time or anything, but he did it with a screwdriver, but he wanted to cover his tracks, so he left the screwdriver there. And after he reassembled it, or maybe he didn't, maybe he did, he hit a target 200 yards away with no practice shot with complete precision, and then he left the screwdriver behind and jumped off the roof, and there's a video of it, and it kind of looks like there is nothing there, but maybe it is, because who cares? Who cares about your lying eyes? But don't worry, we'll give you some low quality video that doesn't track anything, even though every single person has a $50 Ring camera on their front door that shows HD 4K, but a college campus that has a ton of money, that has all of these different things canvassing the entire place, you get some grainy, scrumbly photo 2 days later. And then he ran away and jumped into the woods without anybody noticing, and then left the most crucial piece of evidence behind and wrapped it in a towel with his DNA on it, you know, because he was trying not to be discovered. He was trying to keep it a secret. And then he changed his clothes for no reason, only to change back into them later. And did he disassemble it? Well, he reassembled it just to leave it in the woods, but he didn't have time to pick it up to take it with him, because it's the most crucial piece of evidence that was really near the scene. And then he escaped without a trace for multiple days behind the most high-quality security apparatus that's ever existed in the history of time, only to be discovered when he turned himself in, but didn't admit that he did it, but turned himself in for, I don't know, nothing, while not admitting it. What did you say you did? Nothing, but you're there now? Only to leave a note that now doesn't exist, to then go and text message all of the crucial details to make a legitimate paper trail that completely traces and pins the entire blame on you for absolutely no reason, then saying, delete it, like they can't recover those messages, because that makes sense, because you want to cover it up. Only to completely implicate yourself in writing, even though you wanted it to be covered up, you wanted to keep it to your grave. But it's like, remember when I was etching that thing into those things, then you lived with that guy or gal or whatever for a year, but you didn't talk about it? It's like, why are you etching that into that? Only to get some non-time-stamped messages on a Word doc days later that completely implicate you, and then the crucial press conference where you're supposed to reveal all the details. The lead investigator of the entire country for this very important thing is standing right behind you, and the questions are taken by the governor. That's totally believable.